Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Vendread Infinite Negates. As you can see, I'm just going to be showcasing one of the many combos this deck can do. There are just so many combos that this deck can do with so many different hands. It's kind of scary, but right here I just have probably the most basic one that most Vendread players will recognize: Unizombie plus Vendread Evolution. So I'll just get started. We start off with the normal summon of Unizombie. We use its effect to dump Vendread Battlelord. Now, in case you don't know what Vendreads are, they're a zombie ritual archetype. All their ritual spells can summon from the hand or graveyard, so that is something very neat, which is why Unizombie just works perfectly in this deck. And then all the Vendread ritual monsters, like, they're kind of OTK based, and all the well, you'll understand later. Most of your Vendread main deck monsters have some sort of graveyard effect, and they also have the effect to make if they're used as ritual material, then they can make the ritual monster gain different effects. But we're not really going to be doing that so much. We're going to activate Vendread Evolution. This is probably my favorite ritual spell, where it lets you use one material from the deck in order to summon a Vendread from your hand or graveyard. So we're going to be dumping one copy of Battlelord to our graveyard just to summon another one. We're going to use Battlelord's effect, and this makes this Nibiru proof. In case you don't know what Battlelord does, you can banish one Vendread card from your graveyard. So I banished the Vendread Evolution because we don't really need it anymore since hard one's return. And what it does, for the rest of your turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of the same type. So I declare a monster, they can no longer Nibiru me. That's just really neat. On top of that, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can search any ritual monster and send any Vendread monster from your deck to graveyard. So I'm going to be searching Child Slime, and I'm going to be dumping Vendread Slayer. The reason for this is because I'm going to be ritual summoning it later. We're going to use Child Slime, discard it to summon Incantation Candle. Candle will trigger searching a copy of Vendread Origin. Now this is similar to Evolution, where you can summon from the hand or graveyard. And it says you can also banish zombie monsters from your graveyard as material too. So that's really nice. On top of that, it's not at once per turn like your Evolution, so that's neat. So we're going to summon back the Vendread Slayer. We're going to activate a Vendread Savior, the Link Monster. Once per turn, you can just add any Vendread card from your graveyard, and since Origin is not a hard once per turn, we're just going to activate it again and summoning Battlelord again. Now we go into Reproducus, and Slayer basically has the same ability as Battlelord. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can search any ritual monster, and or no, it's any ritual spell actually, and then you can dump any Vendread monster. We dumped Vendread Striges. What Vendread Striges reads is that when it's sent to the graveyard, you can reveal any Vendread card from your hand in order to summon it. So that is pretty neat. And its effect when it is used as ritual material is that the monster gains this effect where if it battles a monster, you can draw one card and discard one. It's not too necessary for the combo. It really is just for going second mainly. But now we're going to use Reproducus, changing stuff to Winged Beast, and then we're going to go ahead and summon back Slayer. Now we're going to go into Virus Swordsman and then into a Codebreaker Virus Berserker. The Codebreaker engine should seem pretty familiar. Now we go into Rusty Bardiche, sending an Ancient Cloak and setting a Fog Blade. Now we're going to search Silent Boots, and since Silent Boots is an extender, we can use it to go into Unit Carrier, and it'll also net us an extra search for Fog Blade. Now this right here is a really good board for Vendread specifically, and Vendreads can very consistently get this board too out of my testing. So I'll explain the board in a second. We have Apex Avian and Thunderbird, meaning our opponent, whenever our opponent activates effect, Miss Valley Apex Avian can trigger, which will bounce back any Miss Valley card we control to the hand in order to negate it. Now Miss Valley Thunderbird says when it is bounced to the hand, you can just summon it once again. So once Thunderbird is summoned back on the field, you can bounce it again with Avian, you can summon Thunderbird again. It's basically an infinite loop. If our opponent tries to simply attack over the Thunderbird and break the loop, we have Phantom Knight's Fog Blade, meaning our opponent cannot it'll stop our opponent's monster from getting attacked, which is super nice. And above all, Fog Blade also has the neat ability to even if our opponent does like Dark Ruler us or something, or Forbidden Droplets us, we still have the 2 Fog Blade, which is just something I really like about this deck. I think the Vendread decks are starting to use the Phantom Knight engine, if I recall correctly. Sorry, I don't like play. I don't play a lot of Vendread, but it's a very interesting deck, and Vendread has slowly become a bit of my favorite now, and I think I'll just play it a bit more. So we'll go to the deck profile now. Right here we have the deck profile. Just because there's so much ritual support, this deck is absolutely insanely consistent. You can run 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites, 2 copies of Extra Foolish Burial, 2 copies of Preparation of Rites. All of those are just search cards. You also run 1 copy of Incantation Chalice Slime, for which can summon any incantation from your deck to get even more searches. Just absolutely insane. So what we're going to do, 1 copy of Miss Valley Apex Avian. Apex Avian is just for your instant negates. 1 copy of Talismandra. Sometimes I do kind of get problems with this, because if I do hard draw it, then I have to summon the Candle too, and I get a search for a ritual spell, sure, but I do need to have specifically Battle Lord in my hand, because both of them lock me out of my extra deck, so I can't just search my Vendread Slayer. But that's fine, because I can just search Battle Lord later with my I can just search Slayer later with my Battle Lord. 1 copy of Vendread Revenants. This Vendread probably has the worst effect out of all the Vendreads, but that makes up for its absurd second effect, where once per turn quick effect, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, banish it, and Vendread ritual monsters that use it as material gain that effect. So if you're going second or something, then Revenant is absolutely insane. 1 copy of Codebreaker 0 Day, this is for your Codebreaker engine. 1 copy of Candle, this is once again just to get your ritual spells and whatnot. 3 copies of Unizombie. Unizombie is your main way to get cards into the graveyard. You can send any of your Vendreads to trigger their graveyard effects. You can send any of your Vendread ritual monsters in order to summon them with something like Vendread Evolution. Unizombie just has a lot of synergy with this deck, so that's really nice. 1 copy of Thunderbird for Infinite Negates, so 1 copy of your Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. This is to search your Phantom Knights of Silent Boot, which acts as an extender on top of searching a Fog Blade in the graveyard. 1 copy of Hound Horde. Hound Horde is another nice thing. Its effect when it's used as ritual materials kind of similar to Revenant, except it banishes a spell or trap instead of a monster. And once in the graveyard, you can discard any Vendread card to summon it. So you can discard any of your other Vendread monsters that have graveyard effects, which is really cool. 2 copies of Ash Blossom. I'm just running 2 because I don't really have space for the third one. 1 copy of Vendread Striges. Striges is kind of the best one in terms of a graveyard effect, where you can just simply reveal a Vendread card and summon it, so you're basically paying no cost. And it's when it's used as ritual materials, effect isn't that great, honestly, but it's decent. Keep it. And we have 1 copy of Vendread Core. What it does in the graveyard, you can banish another zombie monster, and then you can just summon it back. So it banishes all of these can like banish stuff, and since you're able to get tons of zombie monsters in the graveyard pretty easily, Vendread Core is pretty easy to resolve. 1 copy of Vendread Executor. This is really just in case you're going second, because Vendread Executor can kind of it's really good in going second, where it can protect all your cards from being targeted, and if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, then you can add any Vendread card from your deck to the hand. And it also just has a 3k body, which is having a lot of bodies is kind of what the deck can kind of fall to, but we do run access code, so we don't have to worry about it too much. 2 copies of our Vendread Battle Lord. Battle Lord is not only does make the combo Nibiru proof, it also gives us a way to search Chalice Slime, or it also helps us send any Vendread monsters from our deck to the graveyard for free. 1 copy of Chalice Slime. Chalice Slime, the only reason why I'm running 1 copy is that when I did play it at multiples, I felt that I just kept on drawing multiples of it, just because we have so many ways to search it in the first place. We can search it with Extra Foolish, we can search it with Preparation Rites, and usually that's where it stops in normal decks. But we can also search it with our ritual monsters, Vendread Battle Lord and Vendread Slayer. So that's the main reason I'm only running as 1 of, just because it's so searchable. 1 copy of Vendread Slayer. This is not only is it pretty good going second, where it can It's got some decent OTK capabilities, not really, but what you're mainly going to be using it for is a graveyard effect where you can search any ritual spell, and then you can dump any ritual Vendread monster from your deck to graveyard, which can trigger its effect, like Striges. 3 copies of preparation of pre-prep of rights. The main reason why I run this is because right here, Vendread Origin specifically lists the card Vendread Slayer, if you can read right here, and since it's specifically listing Vendread Slayer, whether it's in the ritual summoning effect or not, it can be searched with pre-prep of rights. So your pre-prep of rights is basically just a free +1. It's basically a pot of greed, except you're searching, which is really nice. 2 copies of extra foolish burial, 2 copies of preparation of rites. Even though preparations of rites isn't a once per turn, I just feel that you don't need any more than 2, just because you're not running too many ritual monsters that you necessarily need, and you're not running too many targets for it in the first place. So I feel that 2 is probably the best ratio. And 2 copies of extra foolish burial. The reason I'm playing this at 2 is just because it's a hard once per turn. It can search a ritual spell too, so that's nice, and ritual spells are pretty important in this deck. So 2 copies of extra foolish burial and 2 copies of preparation rights. So we're basically running 7 search cards off that itself. And on top of that, we're running 3 offs of Vendread Evolution, which can summon any Vendread from your graveyard or hand by sending materials from the deck too. And Vendread Origin. It's not a once per turn, so you can just loop it as many times as you want with cards like your Vendread Savior or anything that can really recur, say or you can just search it with stuff like Vendread Slayer. What am I saying? But 3 copies of Vendread Origin, just really nice, because it's kind of similar to Evolution, where it does have an alternate way to summon for your Vendread ritual, but instead of sending cards from deck to graveyard, you can banish them from your graveyard instead. Next we run 3 copies of Impermanence, and finally 2 copies of Fogblade. So that's kind of the main deck. Honestly, I would maybe bump up 1 Ash Blossom, just because we are running a lot of bricks, so maybe running the 41 card deck is kind of better, I guess. So next for extra deck, we run 1 copy of NEGATES. It's just pretty much just another card for extra foolish burial, in case we're going second and we just want to pop a card rather than searching, because we already have a lot of things in our hand. If we have something like a pre-prep of cards, we don't really need the search anymore, so we can just use extra foolish in order to send NEGATES and pop a card. 2 copies of your Herald of the Arclight. This is really just for your searches that you send, and you send it just off your extra foolish burial. 1 copy of access code for ODKs, 1 copy of Codebreaker Virus Berserker, along with 1 copy of Virus Swordsman just for your Codebreaker engine, 1 copy of your Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty just to summon Apex Avian, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, pretty much just for spot removal. It's just any random utility card. I'm just running all the nightmares right here. 1 copy of Rusty Bardiche. Rusty Bardiche not only gets us an extra extender, so gets us 2 negates, so that's nice. 1 copy of your Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus. Once again, they're just utility cards, just for spot removal. 2 copies of Vendread Savior. The 2 copies does come up sometimes. Also, can somebody please tell me why this is a part of the Majestic archetype? 1 copy of your Union Carrier. Union Carrier is going to get your Thunderbird on the field. Doesn't necessarily have to be a monster, as long as it's on the field, it's all good. And finally, 1 copy of Reaperdocus. This Reaperdocus is just to change attributes in order to go into Simorgh. So that's the deck. It's a really fun deck in my opinion, and it's been performing pretty well. So I want to know your thoughts of it. Put it down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.